If you look at the US clearly has over-regulation, yet the US has got one big thing going for it. There is a famous saying that, God looks after the drunkards and the fools. And luckily for the US, they've got gas. Now they have shale gas. And what's going to happen with shale gas is that in the next 5 years, they're going to stop importing oil. When that happens, a lot of manufacturing that's going to remain in China, especially heavy manufacturing, where freight costs are very high, are going to move back to the US because that's where the big markets are. So what's going to happen in the US is that you're going to have increasing demand, which is going to be consumption-led in the US, and you're going to have employment created in the US. So US, I'm bullish about in the medium term. If you look at Europe, it's a very different picture. Europe is actually quite scary. Last year, if you went to Davos, and I was at a panel with the chairman of PwC this time, it was very interesting. All European businessmen are very positive because they believe that life is fine. Last year, they were very negative. So last year, they felt that they were sitting on the edge of the cliff and all you had to do was blow and they would go right down. Now they're 2 steps away from the cliff. But everybody's optimistic. You look at the ground level, nothing has changed. Fiscal deficits continue to run at an alarming pace. Unemployment, especially youth unemployment in places like Spain and Portugal, run between 35 and 40%. The time kids spend with their families, where they get supported by their parents, used to be 5 years ago, used to be 29, now it's hit 38. So those are the demographics that you have in the US, as in Europe, sorry. And the funny thing is that sentiment has become positive. The minute sentiment turns positive, the pressures of the governments. The minute the pressures of the governments, then guess what? More doles come. Like, recently I saw that we are planning to increase the retirement age for government officials to 62. That's fabulous for youth employment. But these are the short-term kind of issues that people have to tackle with, especially with governments. Because the government's ability to give in sobs and yet tax people who actually are productive is the same across the world.